Hi, everyone, and welcome to our little mini series on how to learn the numbers in English. You've already studied the first 20 numbers, 1 through 20, in Lesson 1, and today, in Lesson number 2, we're going to take you all the way down to 999. We're going to go from 21 to 999. Let's go. All right, so how are you coming along in learning the first 20 numbers? I hope by now that you have mastered them, that you can say them backwards and forwards, slow and fast, awake or sleep, because you need to know those numbers well before we go any further. And the reason is because from 21 right through 999, or even into the millions and the billions and the trillions, these first 20 numbers are very important. We'll be saying them over and over again, no matter what number we're trying to read or say or count. And so I want to encourage you to make sure that you know those first 20 numbers very well, that you've mastered them. So if you aren't quite sure that you've learned them completely, then I invite you to go back and listen to that first lesson some more until you have mastered those numbers. But for the rest who already know these numbers very well, let's get started into today's lesson. Now, by now, you've probably noticed that when you go past 20, that we start repeating ourselves over again. And that's why it's important to know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because when you do your 20s, well, we don't use 10, but we go right up to 9. When you start wanting to say something in the 20s, you need to know those first few numbers. So after 20, it's 21, 22, 23, 24. They're all the same, right? You already know this. You've got this. Really, all you need to do at this point to get from 21 through 99 is simply learn 7 more vocabulary words. And they're real easy. The reason why they're easy is because almost all 7 of these new vocabulary words build on top of those first few words that we've already learned. 3, 4, 5, 6. These are going to become very important in learning our vocabulary words for today. Because after 20 comes 30. 30. Do you hear the 3 in that 30? We see it in the numbers 30. At least the very first part of the word is the same. It has that difficult th sound, right? Th, where you have to put the tongue between the teeth to make the sound. 30. 30. Now, there's something else about the vocabulary words for today is that they end in T. All of them end in T. It's T-Y when you look at the spelling, but the sound is T. We've already learned the first one, right? 20. 20. And now it's 30. 30. 30. And now, here's where it becomes easy. We already know the ending, right? T. So now you just have to say 4. And the ending. 4T. 4, T. 50. Now, it's not quite 5. It doesn't have the V sound, right? It has more like the 15 sound, the fifth, F-I-F, fifth, and then add the T, 50. 6, we already know. Just add the T, 6T, 6T. 7, we already know, 7T, 7T. 8, we got that. We know that. Just add the ending, 8T, 8T. And 9. Remember, some of you have difficulty with this. You have trouble saying the last part of it, and you end up saying nigh instead of 9. But it's important, especially as we get into 90, to say the N. We need to hear the end part. So practice this one a lot so that you get it right. 9T. 9T. Now I'm saying it slowly and I'm emphasizing the N sound. When you have practiced it well, you'll be able to say it like this: 90, 90, 90. All right, well, there you have it. You've learned the tens. That's what we call them, the tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and we will stop there. The tens. Let's go through them again a little bit slower. 10, 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 90. And when you learn those, that's called counting by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. But what about the numbers in between? Is there anything special about those? Well, actually, no. We've already learned 20 through 29, right? Well, the same thing works with all of the rest of the numbers between 21 and 99. I'm sure it's the same in your language as well. I think this is pretty universal. Once you learn 1 through 9, then all you have to do is take that knowledge and bring it over into the tens. So, just like the 20s we learned, now we go to the 30 and we just use the same method. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and then it comes to 40. And it just continues like that all the way through the tens. So once you know how to do that, I don't think we need to even go through all of the numbers. You just start over again, 41, 42. When you get to 50, start over again, 51, 52, 53, and so on. Now, what about saying the numbers? If you see them written on a piece of paper and somebody asks you, what's that number? Well, what if it's a 9-5? How would you say that? Well, we know the 9, when it's got a number after it, we start with 90. And then we just say the number 5. 95. If we see a 4, 6 together, how would that be said? What's the 4 when it's a 10? That's right, it's 40. And then the 6. 46. Well, that gets us through 99. How are we going to make it to 999? Well, actually, it's quite easy. There's really only one more word that we need to learn, and that is 100. That's all we need to learn. 100. Once we know that, we can count now right from 1 through 999 without learning any new vocabulary words. So let's see how it works. We're already at 99, right? The next number is, of course, 100. And once we've reached 100, we just start all over again. 101. 102. Now notice the little extra word there. Should we count that as another vocabulary word? I'm sure you already know and. But that's how we say it. 101. 102. 103, and so on. You already know how to count from 1 to 99. Just do it over again. 115. We even use the teens over again. 116. 134. We already know how to do 34, right? We just put the 100 in front of it, and then the little word and 34. 134. Now, I should say that there is an alternate way of reading these numbers without using the and, especially when you're working in mathematics. People won't always say 134. They might just say 134. 134, they might even say, and all are correct. But when you're talking about money especially, people usually put the and in. 156. 189. And then when you get to reach the end of the 100s, 199, then the next number, you just put a 2 in front of it. We already learned how to do 100. Now you just use the 200, and so on. It's the same when you get to the next 100. You say 300. What if you saw a number on a sheet of paper that had 356 on it? How would you say that? That's right, 356. 356. And we just keep right on going. 400, 500, 600, 700. What if you saw a number on a piece of paper, or maybe it's your calculator, that said 826? How would you say that? That's right. You're really getting this. 826. And so there you have it. You know how to count right from 1 through 999. It's easy, right? And not only do you know how to count all of those numbers, you can now say any number that you see from 1 through 999. In our next lesson, we are going to teach you how to go from 999 right through into the trillions. Do you think we can do it? Is it too much for one lesson? Actually, no. There's really only 4 more vocabulary words to learn, and you will be able to count right through into the trillions. Now, we probably would never want to try and count into the trillions. That would take us our entire life. But it's important to know how to say those kinds of numbers. When you're working with a calculator and you get a number that has 6 or 9 digits in it, you need to know how to be able to say those. And there's just a little trick, and we'll show you next time here as we go through our little mini-series on learning how to use the numbers in English here at Study English with Frank. If you enjoyed the lesson, give us a like, maybe have a little comment in the comment section, and if you haven't already done so, I invite you to subscribe so that you will be sure and get that next lesson about how to count or say the numbers into to the trillions, into the trillions. See you next time. So long for now.